Toxic or miracle? Methylene blue. Is it a toxic blue dye or a medical miracle? Hi, Max McCloud, DOND, PhD here. Methylene blue was the first fully synthetic substance used in medicine, created in 1876 and still used today. Let's take a deep dive into this amazing chemical. And first, though, who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I was all about natural, and methylene blue is not natural. As a physician that values using natural substances to help the body heal, I had a dilemma that led to a serious deep dive to understand this interesting chemical. I learned a lot, and I'll share the highlights with you here. Safe and effective are just as important as natural. So my goal and mission in life is to help people overcome their health challenges and achieve their health, performance, and appearance goals. After a great deal of research, I believe that methylene blue can help in multiple ways. Methylene blue is a fascinating compound with a very rich history. As stated, it was formulated or first formulated in 1876, and it has a long history of safe and effective use for over a dozen applications and is still used today. Methylene blue has been used to fight malaria beginning in the 1890s and is still used today. It has been used to both treat and prevent chronic urinary tract infections beginning in the 1890s and is still used today to some degree. Methylene blue was used for chronic pain beginning in the 1890s, although rarely used for this today due to the plethora of pain medications with huge advertising budgets that are available. Methylene blue has been used to treat psychosis beginning in the 1890s, but is not used for that today. Again, because of all the medications, much more expensive medications that are used to treat various psychological issues. Methemoglobinemia is a condition where hemoglobin is unable to properly deliver oxygen to the tissues. This can be life-threatening if not treated aggressively. Methylene blue is used intravenously in the emergency department to reverse methemoglobinemia as well as carbon monoxide and cyanide poisoning. Amazingly, it worked quite well on all of those things. It became a powerful tool in both clinical medicine, science, and industry. Now it's having a major rebirth, although it never really went away. Methylene blue is in every emergency room. It's the treatment of first choice for several life-threatening conditions, including carbon monoxide poisoning, as just mentioned, cyanide poisoning, and methemoglobinemia. New uses. Methylene blue was identified by nootropic enthusiasts as something that is able to enhance various aspects of brain function. Nootropics, of course, are substances that enhance brain function. It can and does do this. Additional new uses. Quite a few additional beneficial uses were discovered, and it took some research to figure out why it worked on so many different things. The answer, methylene blue is able to enhance mitochondrial ATP production, among other things. It moves electrons from NAD to the electron transport chain complexes 2 and 4 by bypassing complex 1 and 3 when they are damaged. Why is that so important? Well, many people have mitochondrial damage. In fact, it is the underlying cause of all chronic disease and therefore extremely common. By helping to move electrons along the electron transport chain, methylene blue has a powerful effect at enhancing and or restoring the energy production capacity in those mitochondria and therefore the cells those mitochondria inhabit and the organs that they compose. Why is that so important? Well, where do you suppose the highest concentrations of mitochondria are? Nerves, brain, and muscle cells, then liver and endothelial cells. All are highly metabolically active, requiring lots of energy. Why is that so important? Well, research over the past 20 plus years has clearly demonstrated that virtually all chronic diseases are due to mitochondrial damage and dysfunction. Unfortunately, few doctors are aware of this. Methylene blue is also antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, and antiparasitic. And the bottom line is that methylene blue has the potential to help virtually every health challenge you can think of. The main problem is that methylene blue is in the public domain and can't be patented. No patented means no big profits. No big profits means pretty much no positive media coverage. Other problems and concerns. There's a thing called G6PD, which stands for glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase. It's an enzyme, and it's an enzyme deficiency. 5 to 7% of the population has this condition, and G6PD protects red blood cells from oxidative damage. Now, methylene blue, when it's consumed, increases ATP production throughout the body. This generates increased amounts of ROS, reactive oxygen species, or free radicals, which leak from damaged mitochondria, which is very common, thereby increasing the extracellular fluid levels of reactive oxygen species, which impact red blood cells. G6PD is supposed to protect red blood cells from oxidative damage, but gets overwhelmed by the increased reactive oxygen species / free radicals. So a G6PD deficiency means that anything that boosts reactive oxygen species could lead to damage to red blood cells and hemolytic anemia. So there is a workaround for this in that 5 to 7% of the population that may want to try methylene blue. It's to simply take liposomal glutathione to counter the reactive oxygen species and protect the red blood cells. Other problems and concerns. Well, there's a degree of conflict with SSRIs, which stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Methylene blue increases the production of various neurotransmitters and therefore can elevate neurotransmitter levels, which is generally a good thing. However, there is an issue when someone is taking pharmacological interventions called SSRIs that slow down the breakdown and reuptake of serotonin in this case, which can potentially cause something called serotonin syndrome. Now, this is a very rare event that has only been documented with IV administration of methylene blue. It's really unheard of with oral ingestion, although it's theoretically possible. There are a total of 25 to 40 reported cases in all the scientific literature and government adverse reaction reporting systems. So virtually all were IV dosing. Other problems and concerns. Well, finally, there's an MD by the name of Paul Saladino that has speculated, without any data to support it, that methylene blue might damage healthy mitochondria. The data absolutely contradicts this, and I'll be doing a detailed video soon to put this nonsense to rest. Now, of course, we still have some degree of free speech left, at least for now, and everyone is entitled to their opinions. However, I find it somewhat irresponsible for Dr. Saladino to make this unfounded assertion. He was a strong carnivore diet proponent who found that this damaged his health and switched to a higher carb approach. Now, he's a psychiatrist with some additional training in functional medicine. And I've seen newbies make these kind of mistakes many times in my 55 years of studying the health sciences. Unfortunately, social media and poorly overseen podcasts are spreading more misinformation than ever. Just a quick comment about the carnivore diet as well as high carb diets. I am not a proponent of either one. I'm not saying that either one is bad or unhealthy. I'm just saying I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the carnivore diet because I don't believe in killing animals when it isn't necessary for our survival. I haven't eaten meat or poultry in 50 years. I'm also not a fan of high carbs because they tend to cause insulin spikes that put me to sleep and pack on weight. I've eaten relatively low carb for about 40 years. So what do I know? Well, at 67, I'm as fit, strong, and healthy as I was at 17, and I was one of the fittest and strongest 17-year-olds around 50 years ago. It's not to brag. It's just simply to point out that I must know something about health, nutrition, exercise, and age reversal. Now, be cautious. I do want you to do your own research. So be cautious when taking anyone's health related advice. This applies to online gurus, social media, and in person advice from your physician. No one, not even me, knows everything about health. Many know just enough to make it sound like they know what they're talking about. Most simply do not. Now, why would you consider trying methylene blue? Well, methylene blue has 150 years of safe and effective use for a variety of conditions. It's probably not a true panacea, but its benefits appear to far outweigh any risks at reasonable dosages. So now, what are reasonable dosages? Well, methylene blue is 72% absorbed orally, so there's no good reason to take it IV unless it's for a medical crisis like methemoglobinemia, carbon monoxide, or cyanide poisoning. So, an example, I was messing around with copper water vessels and ended up consuming too much water from the copper vessel over a period of a few days, and I developed copper toxicity, acute copper toxicity, pretty unnerving. And I looked it up quick, and it's like, okay, this could be fatal in a certain percentage of cases. So I was like, well, what can I do to reverse this? Methylene blue came to mind, and I used methylene blue orally, took effect very quickly, and within 15 minutes, the symptoms subsided. So it is quite effective orally. Now, there's also no good reason to take it sublingually as a lozenge or as a liposome, unless you'd like to triple, quadruple the cost. All that, all that's marketing hype. It's not necessary at all. There's also no good reason to take it with other substances added. That's also just marketing hype that significantly adds to the cost. Now, of course, many other nutrients also serve to enhance mitochondrial health and energy production. And certainly you should take those, but that doesn't have to be in the same vial with your methylene blue. Now, what's a reasonable dosage? So generally dosing from 0.5 to 4 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day, and even up to 2 times a day, is the therapeutic range that you would like to achieve. Now, when using a 1% solution, which is most common, one drop equals 0.5 milligrams per drop. To calculate your dose, simply divide your weight in pounds by 2.2 to get kilograms. The absolute safest dose range, in my opinion, is 0.5 to 2 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. So one drop, 0.5 milligrams per kilogram, is the lowest therapeutic dose based on the preponderance of the research. So to achieve 2 milligrams per kilogram will require 4 drops per kilogram with a 1% solution. Now, you can safely go up to 8 drops per kilogram, but I'd recommend limiting it to 4 drops per kilogram. The 0.5 to 2 milligram per kilogram range should produce positive results for most people without any negative effects whatsoever. So rule of thumb, start with 1 drop or less per kilogram and work your way up to see if and when you start to feel a difference. So what effects might you feel? Well, there's several. Enhanced cognitive function, in other words, improved thinking ability and alleviation of brain fog. Nerve cells have among the highest number of mitochondria. Therefore, altered or sluggish brain function may be a sign of mitochondrial damage. Another symptom you may experience or effect you might experience is increased energy and reduced fatigue. Muscles have the second highest number of mitochondria. With inactivity, you lose mitochondria and therefore energy producing capacity. Now, you have to work to bring them back. They don't just come back because you want them to or because you take methylene blue. Mood. So improving mood, reduced anxiety, and a sense of calm focus via increased neurotransmitter levels. Methylene blue will increase serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Neuroprotection and age reversal potential. Methylene blue increases ATP, as we've talked about, which is equal to enhancing the ability of cells to protect themselves and regenerate. There's also a correlation between improved skin health. Methylene blue increases the skin's ability to repair, regenerate, and reproduce collagen and elastin. Antimicrobial benefits, broad spectrum. Methylene blue has been shown to kill a variety of bacteria, fungi, and viruses by several mechanisms. It's also antiparasitic. Some research indicates that it also has the potential to reduce the damage from radiation. Now, lower doses may also be helpful, as at least some speculate that it could be. And they say even just 10 to 20 drops per day may provide benefits. Personally, when you consider the number of cells and mitochondria that we have, I'm not so sure that 10 to 20 drops will do very much. Safety considerations. Only use USP, which stands for US Pharmaceutical Grade methylene blue, to avoid potential contaminants such as heavy metals. As with anything, do your research and find a reputable supplier. Now it's commercial time. So I'm working to make more educational videos. And of course, we all need to do things that support ourselves monetarily as well. I've developed and manufactured several unique cutting edge nutritional products, including my own methylene blue product called Mito Boost. I've been making it for several years. I use it daily. It's very high quality. Now, if you buy it from us, it helps to support my work and these videos. When making my products, I focus on safety, effectiveness, efficiency, and sustainability. That means making it cost effective. Our methylene blue is in 100 ml vials, which is 3.4 ounces. That's about 3 times the size, a bit over 3 times the size of most products that tend to come in 30 ml bottles. So that helps to right there to make it a greater value. You can find it at mybodysymphony.com or on my clinical website, ARTC.health, which stands for Age Reversal Technology Center. A bottle of 100 milliliters, which is 3.4 ounces, is just $60. And we also have multi-bottle discounts. Now, if you find this video to be helpful, be sure to check out my other videos on a wide range of health enhancement topics. I will also continue to explore the wonders of methylene blue in other videos and answer some of the most common specific questions people have about it. Now, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of methylene blue and its health benefits. Final requests. Now for the obligatory requests. If you enjoyed this video and learned something of value, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it. Also, look at some of my other videos on health supporting topics. Again, liking, commenting, and or subscribing all helps with the algorithm, which helps me reach and help more people. Thanks for watching. This is Dr. Max McCloud, DOND, PhD. I hope to see you again soon on another video.